Shall we begin?
Welcome to the Happy MonsterCast. I'm your host, Scott Marchand Davis of Happy Monster Press.
Let's begin now.
This week on the Happy MonsterCast, the Foundry Gang leaves the Revolutionary War for an excursion into Mutha Oith in Lowlight. This week on the Happy MonsterCast, Foundry Gang member Frankie is taking paternity leave, so the rest of the gang is leaving the Continental Army behind and entering the weird and wacky world of Lowlight. Lowlife contains adult language, adult themes, fart jokes, and puppet sets. You have been warned. Alright, so welcome to Mutha Oith. Mutha Oith, figuratively speaking, is a magnificent living beast. Her mighty breath flows in lofty gusts, gentle breezes, and churning maelstroms of draft wind and storm. Her lifeblood flows along rivers, streams, and cataracts, congealing in clots of ice when wounded by cold, and erupting in boiling spumes when taunted by heat and lust, only to hemorrhage and puddle in gaping lakes, deep, deep seas, and the unfathomably enormous Big Drink itself. When saddened, the Oith cries tears of rain, perhaps discomfited by a cloudy head cold, or enraged by thunderous migraines and sizzling lightning hangovers. The continents are her body, adorned with peninsular limbs and isthmian appendages. Mountainous acne, glacial talons, snowy drifts of scurf and dander, pilferous woodlands and forests of hirsute magnificence litter her landscape like those things I just said. The rocks are her skin, the swamps her weepy shores, the deserts her calloused toes, and other things are other things. I trust you grasp the imagery. Continuing the analogy to its obvious and puerile end, Easter Island is Oith's flatulent backside, pimpled and creased, gently seeping its gastric fumes and occasionally rumbling with seismic indigestion and geologic dyspepsia. That's the gist of it, but just as a flaky pie crust speaks little of the tasty grubs within, Easter Island is more than just the keister. These buns wear drawers, so to speak. And the greatest of those drawers is the bitchin' city of Flume, fourth largest city in Mutha Oith, the cosmopolitan center of the world, as the keister of God is, of course, the center of the planet, according to the Weisenheimers, at least. And you, for all of your various reasons, have come here to the bitchin' city of Flume, wandered among its exciting sights, seen the temples to Jelvis and Stan, and now you find yourself in the place of pondering. And in a large plaza made from a mysterious silvery stone, reputed to be a place where thoughts work more easily. Doughy golden clouds wander slowly across the hazy orange sky. From your seat, a filthy wooden bench arrayed in a triple arc with a couple of dozen just like it in one of the 50 or so plazas that make up the place of pondering. You can smell the sulphurous stench of the keister of God, intermingled with the delectable aromas of fried dung and pickled slog nuggets, hawked by the ubiquitous street vendors a few yorts beyond the silvery stone wall that surrounds the plaza. The assembled crowd talk quietly among themselves, occasionally laughing out loud at some joke or other. So far, the wooden puppet theater opposite your benches has made not a peep, its curtains drawn tight, and its hanging paper lanterns unlit. The crowd is a mix of various sorts of beings, including quite a few croaches, some worms, a couple of smelves, the odd cream fillion, and of course, the three of you, which means that in addition to the four of you, I should say, which means that in addition to those other things, there is also a Tizant with the head of a dolphin and the body of a dung beetle and the tail of a skunk, a rather goth-looking croach, a rather devious-looking pile, and a smelf festooned with assorted ranged weapons and gadgetry.
It's gonna take a minute for me. It's gonna take a little while for me to recall all the lingo here, but all right, let's roll here.
All right. So most of the people around you seem to be civilians, but there are a couple that seem to be more of the adventuring profession as yourself. You can introduce yourselves now, or you can wait until something happens. Entirely up to you.
I will. I'll just go ahead and introduce. As I strut around the plaza and sort of survey the scene, look to see who might be easy pickings and everything. I say, McBitey Face is the name. Stench Bottom McBitey Face. Sailed the big drink many a year. Plundered my plundered and took joy where I could find it. Oh
boy.
And here I am looking for gold, adventure, and fine things to eat.
All right. Anybody want to respond to that introduction?
I think I'm socially awkward.
That makes sense for your character.
And then I kind of look away.
So there's a smell laughing at you. Most of the rest of the others in the crowd look impressed. There's one of the Creamphillians who's wearing a checkered do-rag and has a painted brick tied to a rope wrapped around his head. Sort of grumbles to himself and snorts at you.
Joy? There is no joy. We're all just shuffling along until eventually the light turns on and the boot comes down.
That would be the goth Croach.
Look away again.
Okay.
Scott, is there any way I can make a sound and then make my hand turn into a giant green or have a green orb of snot start floating around in it and be sometimes I think it's composed of this and be like,
all right. Well, you could summon a wuss.
Okay, I'll summon a wuss. How about this?
Let's see. Let me roll for
what's a wuss?
A wuss is a small. I did it 3 times. Jeez. A wuss is, well, we'll find out if he's actually able to pull it off or not. Yes, he is.
Roll for me? Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. So a wuss is a small floating snot ball which appears next to him. So this entrepreneurial wuss it appears, and it is from your experience in the world that this is this pile, himself composed kind of slime and junk, is clearly a contaminator who can summon and control these creatures of foulness and filth. The wuss is a little wisp of gelatinous vapor with pudgy arms and an eyeless face. It's a spirit of stink and flatulence.
Perfect.
Ooh, right up my alley.
What's that?
Can I craft anything with those?
With a wuss? No, yeah. It will eventually disappear after being summoned. It's a summoned creature.
Got it.
And as people's attention is drawn for a minute by the appearance of this wuss, but with the absence of any activity from the puppet show, a few people start to gather their things to leave. But then there's a metallic crash from the puppet theater. A puff of green smoke engulfs the wooden stage and then quickly dissipates. A gasp of wonder emerges from the crowd as they see that the curtain is drawn and the paper lanterns are lit, their reddish glow illuminating a squat pink figure standing in the center of the tiny puppet stage. 3 smells walk out from behind the theater and begin to rhythmically bang sticks together as a deep, resonating voice emerges from everywhere at once. Behold! The glory of what once was! A second pink figure rises slowly from beneath the puppet stage, dressed in a bright red robe and wearing a paper crown. The 2 hand puppets turn to face each other, their eyes goggling slowly back and forth. Suddenly, the 3 smells burst into song, their high voices at once cacophonous and melodic. The world was a better place when run by the human race. No one got in your face the time of the human race. Hey!
Yeah.
The pink,
Okay.
Humans.
the pink puppets join hands and begin to dance in a circle. More emerge, one in a pink dress and another wearing nothing but a wide-brimmed hat, and join the frolic. Don't mess with the human race. When they get back from outer space, they just might kick your ass. The crowd begin to tap their toes and clap along. Two small croach larvae join arms and dance around in a circle. Without warning, a voice of dissent, a low, grumbly voice full of angst and piss, rises from the audience. A lone creamfillion, his checkered do-rag adrip with sweat and assorted foulnesses, stands up slowly and shouts, "Slog crap! The human race were a bunch of vile monsters. They imprisoned my people and forced them into bondage. How can you make light of our suffering? This is off the cob. I piss on your precious human race." And he begins to unwind the rope around his head with the brick attached to it. What would you like to do?
Uh-oh.
Well, this is great fun. This is like dinner and a show here. I'm just going to stand back and watch the melee, come in. I mean,
Okay.
This is what I come ashore for.
All right, so he finishes unwinding his brick. Does anyone else do anything to intervene?
No idea what's going on.
Yeah, this red guy here who's red with rage.
Right.
And he starts to twirl the brick around his head. This croach is going to run away and starts to swing it towards the puppet theater. And he strikes it with a crash, and the theater begins and punches right through the walls. And there's a shriek from inside as he continues to swing the brick around and attempt to demolish the puppet theater. And that will put us into combat. As whether or not you choose to participate, there is going to be a fight here. So let's get Goop Slap and Stench Bottom in there, and Scrappy and Chitinous. And let's get some initiative. All right, so first up is the puppeteer, who is shrieking and attempting to extricate himself from his puppet theater, but without immediate success. And next up is Scrappy.
I'm just watching.
You're just watching, okay.
I don't really. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening, but I'll get my crossbow ready just in case something actually does happen that I understand.
Okay, some context. The do-rag and the creamfillion suggests that he is a Jemima's witness. And the Jemima's witnesses are a primarily creamfillion sect that believe that the human race were horrible torturers because their ancestors were wrapped in plastic, put in coffin-like devices, and then consumed for the entertainment of the humans.
Sympathize.
They're not wrong.
So this guy clearly has a beef with the whole human propaganda puppet show here.
I sympathize.
Goop Slap.
So I think I'm going to. Is there a way I can sort of hold action and sort of have one of my hands sort of glowing or snotting with green and ready to hurl something?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Your wuss basically has two abilities that you can take advantage of. One is it can alter the smell of anything within its range of vision.
Okay.
And the second is they can fly into the noses of an opponent.
Oh, perfect. All right. So
Eventually causing them to be shaken.
yeah, so that guy's gonna fly into that guy and be like right in his face.
All right, so let's roll for. So I'm going to roll for your wuss here.
Yeah, I want it to be like an obnoxiously loud, like party horn kind of, like just like absurdly ridiculous.
Ooh, good roll.
It worked.
All right, so that means that the Creamphillian here gonna have to make a vigor roll or be shaken.
I love how absurd this world is.
It's only gonna get more absurd.
That's to me. That's,
All right, so he does not make his vigor roll, so he's shaken. As he coughs and hacks, as he the smell of the wuss in his nose. All right, but now it is his turn, so he's going to make a spirit roll to see if he can unshake. Which fails, so he's going to spend a penny to unshake, so that he can whack the. He's going to try to whack the Croach now. And I believe that will hit. Croach. No, the Croach manages to duck out of the way. So he is not able to. The Creamphillian is not able to get him this round. Okay, Stench Bottom.
Okay, so I call out, hey, I don't mind heckling, but the heckling is good fun, but you're messing up the show. And I whack him with my enormous slice.
Okay, enormous slice away.
enormous.
Yeah, it's. Do you want to describe it, because I think your description was awesome.
Oh, guys! So the enormous slice is a. I mean, it's basically like. How did I describe that? Wait a second. Let me turn back here. I actually wrote this down. I think I did. Hang on. It's basically the engine block of an old Buick, which I dredged from the bottom of the deep the big drink. It's tied to a long wooden, like a stout wooden pole, and I just swing the whole thing. I mean, it's got sort of pointy bits on it, and it's big and rusty and heavy and weighs about 700 pounds.
Perfect.
All right, and it hits.
Aha!
Right. So let me go for damage.
For a very respectable 12 damage, which he is going to have to try to. He's going to have to try to soak that. He's going to spend another penny. So that will. That's going to shake and wound him. But he does manage to soak, so he ducks out of the way of the enormous slice at the last second. And that brings us to Chitinous. You want to get involved in this street brawl?
No, I'm going to hold action. I'm watching the show.
Okay.
This is taking it's stopping me from thinking about the futility of life.
All right. So the Croach manages to scramble clear of his puppet theater, and he's going to try to run away next round. Chitinous, you're still holding.
Yes.
Scrappy.
They look hurt. Are they bleeding? Because if nobody needs healing and is in the clear, then I'm just gonna sit there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that brings us to the Creamphillian, who very single-mindedly is going to move over one, not unfortunately leaving melee range of Stench Bottom, but over so that he can once again attempt to whack the Croach with his brick on a string.
Brick on a string.
And completely fail to hit. And Stench Bottom.
I'm going to reiterate. I said, knock it off.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
That will hit. That will hit again. So give me a damage roll. Almost always. Oh, so close on the 12. 13 still smarts though. So he is now shaken and wounded.
I'm loving this enormous slice.
Slices and dices bigger than the other blades.
So he goes down.
Cool.
And the Croach comes over to you and says, "Thank you, kind sir or ma'am." Oh, he's a Tizant. It's not really clear.
It could be either one,
enough.
depending on circumstance.
Says, I am so grateful. You must accept these as a reward. And he shoves his hand puppets into your hands, and then runs away.
Whoa! What the Fargo Bargo am I supposed to do with these?
BS.
So I inspect the puppets.
Okay, so give me a notice roll, please.
Seconds.
Okay, not great. Would you like to Benny it?
I think I would. Yeah. That's better.
That's better, definitely.
Can I run over and take a look?
Absolutely, you can run over and take a look. You can also make a notice roll. Anyone else can too if they choose to.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Snowdust. Boop.
The dice are flying.
Wow. Those are some amazing notice rolls.
I think I noticed something.
I think you do too.
I said, hey, what's going on?
So as you're kind of passing the puppets around and looking at them, very obviously, Stench Bottom, you find a crumpled piece of leather on which is written the following message: Orble, the Froth, Sunrise.
Orbital, the Froth, Sunrise. Okay.
Yes, I would like everyone to make common knowledge rolls.
Oh boy.
Okay, Stench Bottom, you've heard of the Froth. The Froth is an enchanted fountain that spews a continuous stream of root beer.
Nice.
Root beer. Okay.
Yes, root beer. And as you're kind of passing these puppets around, Scrappy, you notice that the eye on the one with the crown is loose. And it kind of pops off in your hand, and you see a message on the back of it. And scrawled on the back of the puppet's eye is the message, "They know I know. Watch my butt."
I can fix that.
Huh.
I can fix that. If you want me to fix that eye, I can fix that.
They know I know. Watch my butt.
Yep.
Oh, because it's like bees that dance to talk to each other. Right.
It's one possibility.
Okay.
or the puppeteer had some kind of knowledge about something or other important, and he was concerned that they were onto him.
Also a possibility.
Well, what does orbital mean?
That's a good question. You don't have any immediate indication of what orbital might mean. Could be a place, could be a name.
Okay. So, but if we go to this frost, the enchanted fountain at sunrise, that might be a good place to meet this orbital or buy them or eat them or whatever orbital is.
Okay. So that would, of course, mean that you're going to need some sort of lodgings for the night, unless you plan to sleep on the streets, which does happen in Flume.
I think we should. So I say, okay, folks, we're obviously we're doing this together because I feel much more comfortable doing this stuff with crew around me, and you guys look like the best crew I'm able to get, likely to get right here. So let's do this.
Woo!
All for one and all for me. Excellent.
I'm gonna fix that eye. Fix that.
All for one, and that one is me.
You absolutely can fix the eye, yes.
Whatever. The puppet show was lame, anyways.
It was. I take the two puppets and I make them start doing sexual things with each other. Just
Oh God.
I've been at sea a long time.
Someone in the crowd walks up and says, "Are you taking over the show?"
I punch him right in the face.
I'll take that as a no.
Hey, wait a minute. We have a dead Creamfillian here, right?
You do.
I go through his pockets and look for loose change.
Give me those puppets. I dang the
Creamfillian have
Creamfillian.
anything that I can
All right. Make a danging roll. The only thing he has in his pockets, 20 clams, and of course he has a brick on a string. Would you like to Benny that?
Sure. Hold on. Oh, where's the? Oh, it's actually there.
Better.
And it's doubles.
Cool.
Okay. So I'm going to double check the rule on this, but if I recall correctly, since you rolled a double 4, you have created a permanent creature of the danged.
Ooh.
Well, shucks.
What?
Well, that is not what I was planning, but that works even better.
Creature of the danged.
Yep. So he's basically in low life terms, he is a necromancer, and so he has raised this Creamfillian from the dead and created a shambling husk of a creature.
Ew.
All around and do stuff.
Yeah. So
for it.
he's basically got a Creamfillian zombie servant now.
Ew.
What would you like to name your Creamfillian zombie servant?
Gary.
Gary. Okay, hang on. I gotta create Gary here.
Gary.
Wow, boy, it's just that easy. This crew gets better by the minute.
Yep.
Come with me, my dark servant of the abyss.
With
Your-
Gary.
your
better
wuss-
sounds.
Gary.
Gary.
Your wuss, unfortunately, has dissipated. Your contaminations are not permanent, but and usually the danged are not permanent either. But if you roll doubles like that, they are.
Wow.
Oh wow, he's a fast zombie.
Boy.
I made a run. I made a Twinkie runner.
You did, yes. He's got a pace 8.
Pace 8?
Yeah.
Holy
So we can have him chase down stuff for us.
Yeah. All right. Did that work or not?
Can he still use? Can this zombie Creamfillian still use the brick on a stick or on a rope?
No, he has sprouted claws, and he's not very bright.
So give me the puppets.
Okay, all right, you get the puppet. Fine. I mean,
I put one puppet on each hand and I set him up onto the stage.
God.
Okay. Well, the stage is kind of mostly destroyed.
Well, in front of the stage.
All right, hang on. I got to do 2 more things here to give you Gary. I should have anticipated that you were going to animate the dead Creamfillion, but A, I wasn't sure he'd actually be killed, and B, I had no idea. I had no idea you were going to create a permanent one. So, so Gary is friendly. And he is observer for everyone and owned by Frank. Behold, Gary.
Gary. Gary.
wow. Wow.
Rah puppets. Rah brains.
This is going to be some kind of puppet show.
All right. So
good job, Gary. We'll talk over here.
Okay. So you also pick up 5 clams from tips from the audience.
Really?
For Gary's puppet show, yes.
Wow. Nice.
Oh my god.
So I assume you're gonna hit the streets of Flume to find some lodging for the evening.
Sure.
Sure.
So you're strolling along, attempting to find some place to spend the evening. And you suddenly see a group of wusses appear in front of you, or actually surrounding you. And a glob of muck lands nearby, and you look up to the top of the nearby buildings, and there are 2 contaminants, specifically wankers.
Wankers.
Oh boy.
Fucking wankers.
Stationed atop the buildings, hurling goo at you. To get everybody in here, including Gary. And that will also put us into combat.
I'm straight it will. Nobody throws stuff at me.
Well, if nothing else, this game is not dull.
Agreed. It's very absurd. I love it.
Okay, so there's 4 wusses, 2 in front and 2 behind, and then there's these 2 wankers up on the building.
Couple wankers.
Yep. So you, of course, being a contaminator, are familiar with wankers.
Oh yeah.
So you know what they can do, even though you're not at the level where you can summon a wanker yet. So basically, they are squirting a stream of vile, glistening slop from their single cyclopean eye. And this will potentially cause anyone being hit with it to be struck with ecstasy and therefore shaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's creepy.
That's not right.
Wait till you hear how they attack.
Boy.
By sending pictures of themselves?
No, I'll just say that it's called excavation, and it occurs in a very uncomfortable place.
No. Crossbow ready for doing this. No.
Okay,
No.
The wankers drew a joker.
What?
Well, they kind of had this is an ambush, so it's not surprising they would.
Get the drop.
Yep. So one is going to shoot at Stench Bottom, and one is going to shoot at Chitinous. And that, of course, gets a +2 for the Joker. All right, that hits with a raise. So Chitinous, I need you to make a spirit roll against the Wanker's spirit. Specifically, the Macho Wanker. Your number to beat is an 11.
Ooh.
Can I try and Betty that?
You absolutely can try and Benny that, yes. Question, who has the puppets at this point?
They're on the hand of Gary.
They're well, two of them are in Gary's hands. Where are the other two?
I still have them.
Okay. That is important. Okay, so you need to beat an 11. Chitinous.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, I think I'm just going to take that one. I'm not sure.
Oh, you spent the penny. You want me to give you the penny back, or?
Oh no, I spent it and did not. It
And
did
you did not roll. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Give me a spirit roll.
Here we go.
Big money, big money.
Holy Moses!
Hey, you good use of money.
Wowzers.
You resist the splooge.
How about them apple?
All right.
That's inappropriate.
Next up, the wusses. They fly in and they are attempting to fly into the hand puppets.
What the hell? Okay.
Watch my butt.
What is your parry, Stench Bottom?
My parry is 5.
Okay, so the first was +1 for ganging up on you. Does manage to fly into one of the puppets and is going to attempt to fly away next round. The second one is unable to get a puppet. And Gary has a parry of 5. So let's see how the wusses do with that. So they got one. They're into one of them. Okay, so they've flown into both of the ones that Gary is carrying. And then it's Goop Slap's turn. What would you like to do about this situation? Still with us, Bob?
Yeah, no, my thing's not working. In that case, is there any way I can target one of the wankers on the roof and just hurl really hard at them?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Come on, powers. All right. Let's do a bolt just to open things up.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to reload Foundry. Hold on. Do you mind rolling that for me?
Not at all.
Okay.
Bolt. That will hit with a raise.
Some.
For 3 damage.
Oh,
Would you like to Benny the damage?
yes, please. Yes, please.
Wow, a triple 1 on damage. That is sad.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah,
Okay, 9 damage is much more respectable.
definitely.
That is enough to shake the wanker.
Shake the way.
I see what you did there.
That's
There's
really
there's a sentence I never thought I'd say. Okay.
Sorry. Been a long day.
Yeah.
Chitinous, you and Gary now have a turn. So Gary is about to lose both of his puppets, unless he can deal with these wusses that have flown into them and are trying to fly away.
Okay, so seeing as how the wusses are really near his claws inside the puppets, can he claw the wusses?
He can claw them both. It would be at a multi-action penalty of -2, though.
Or could
was
Gary
gonna
clap his
say.
hand?
I'll allow that. Do you want me to roll for Gary, or would you like me to, or would you like?
I'm gonna let you roll for Gary.
Oh my god, I'm dying to see this.
Your hands.
Really hard. Really hard.
That he is unable to clap his hands hard enough to damage the wusses.
It's kind of like Tinkerbell. You have to believe.
Unless you want to spend a Benny for it. But you can also act.
What is do wusses experience fear?
I don't believe it says they don't. So I would say yeah, they do experience fear.
Well, Gary's dead. I suppose I could stab a puppet.
Yeah,
That's one way to mod it.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna stab the puppet on the left.
Okay. Give me a fighting roll. A +2 for gang up.
I
Good
didn't
thing you
have
had
a 2.
that's okay. That hits. So give me a damage roll, which you can click the dagger for that purpose, and just do the damage roll there. All right. So you have shaken the wuss.
Nice.
So sorry, that got the wrong one. The leftmost wuss is shaken. All right, Stench Bottom.
Okay, so I have one wuss that has flown into the puppet.
Yes, the other wuss is trying to fly into the puppet.
Okay, I am going to use one of my my pointy bits. I'm going to stab into the puppet at the wuss in there.
So basically, you're going to bite the puppet.
Yes. Right.
Oh yeah, now the puppet fight.
Getting weirder and weirder.
Well, you have successfully bitten the puppet. So go ahead and give me a damage roll.
There you go.
That is also enough to shake the wuss inside the puppet.
How does he taste? Does he go crunchy?
No, he is an animate. He's basically an animated blob of flatulence, so not great, even by low life standard.
Oh,
literally tastes like farts.
Nice.
Scrappy.
So do I think I'm good enough that I can shoot one of the things on the roof?
Very likely, yes.
All right.
The closer one is already shaken.
Right. I'll go for the I'll go for him.
Okay. Wow, that was bad.
Hmm.
Would you like to Benny it?
Yes. Wait. No, that's not what I wanted to do.
That
I'm
was
not
a lot.
exactly sure what happened.
Well, what happened is you hit with a raise. So go ahead and click the damage button with the plus.
Nice. Ooh,
Yeah. You
I
punch
think
through.
I got him.
You have in fact slain this wanker.
Woo! That sounds wrong too, but
Slapping the wanker down.
Dead wanker. All right, new round.
And then he goes limp.
God.
Sorry.
This is
You
so
put
my
the strings
setting.
here. I have to say stuff.
This is so rude.
Yeah, this is so my setting. I love it.
This is low life. All right, so the wusses go first. They are attempting to fly away with the puppets.
Oh no, you don't.
So, which means that everyone adjacent to them will get a free melee attack against one of them. The one that hasn't flown into a puppet yet is going to try to fly into a puppet. And fail. No, I forgot about the bonuses. Nope, he gets it. So now the other puppet now has a wuss in it. The first wuss, which you shook, is flying away, so you can try to hit that one or bite that one.
Okay. I'll do that. Yep.
That will hit with a raise.
Okay.
Wow.
Here comes.
Holy crap.
And that is enough to slay the wuss.
Woo.
So do I just get a free attack on the one, or can I also attack
You
the
just
other
get a
one?
free attack on the one.
Okay.
All right, so there are two wusses down here. The left one is shaken, the right one is not, and they're both trying to fly off with the puppets. So we'll start with chitinous. You want to try to stab one, and if so, the shaken one or the not shaken one?
What if I grapple the shaken one?
Can't grapple as they're flying away, unfortunately.
Oh, they're already high enough to. Okay.
Well, they're in. You're reacting to them running away, so you can try to stab them as they fly off.
Okay. Stabby, stabby.
That hits with a raise.
Nice.
Ooh. Oh my
Ooh,
goodness. Oh
nice.
my goodness.
Whoa.
All
What?
right, so you slaughtered the unshaken one. Gary can also claw at the one that's trying to fly off.
Ooh. Do it. Do it.
Gary,
He's going to claw at the shaken one.
I try to take a shot at one, or it's got to be melee. So
Got to be melee when they're flying away. Yeah. Gary hits the shaken one. And he manages to kill it.
Wow. Way to go, Gary.
So you're down to the one wuss in the puppet on Stench Bottom.
So now this is my
I mean something.
Now it's your action. Yes.
that was my actual action. Okay.
Yeah.
So this wuss has flown into the
The other puppet.
the other puppet. All right. So I'm gonna bite him. And bite him. Actually, can I use the enormous slice on him? That feels a little.
I'm
no, I
going to
can't.
say I'm going to say yes. If you because he's trying to fly away, so you can try to nail him with the enormous slice as he flies away.
Whack him. Okay.
That hits.
Good hit.
ooh,
Big money. Oh yeah.
So the puppet is in rough shape, but you have slain the other wuss. And as you look up at the other wanker, it dissolves into mud and disappears. So whatever was
pieced
going
out.
on, somebody really wanted those puppets.
So I retrieve what's left of the puppets. Do we notice anything else about the puppets now? I mean, these obviously are a lot more important than I thought they were.
You've examined them as carefully as you possibly can, and the only things you found are those 2 messages.
Oh.
So all the more reason to head out to the froth in the morning. And that is where we will leave it for tonight.
Wow.
Excellent.
Okay.
How
Oh my
bizarre.
God.
Okay.
That's strange.
It's a
All right. See you guys.
weird setting with weird art. And I'm just sad that there wasn't an appropriate Tizen art for Brendan's character, but I did my best with the dolphin with the thumbs up there.
There you go. That I can live with
Nice.
that. That's
That's a thumb.
smiling. Yeah.
Well, you can make it whatever digit you want. It's completely
I couldn't
appropriate.
tell
For
from this distance.
All
Oh
right.
boy.
A rude dolphin.
Awesome.
You can follow Happy Monster Press on Facebook as Happy Monster Press, at our website, happymonsterpress.com, Twitter as Happy Monster PRS, or follow the podcast on YouTube, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, iTunes, or Google Play Music. The Happy Monster Cast is part of the Savage Worlds Media Network. This game references the Savage Worlds game system available from Pinnacle Entertainment Group at www.peginc.com. It is unofficial media content permitted under the Media Network Content Agreement. This content is not managed, approved, or endorsed by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Certain portions of the materials used are the intellectual property of Pinnacle and all rights are reserved. Savage Worlds, all related settings and unique characters, locations, and characters, logos, and trademarks are copyrights of Pinnacle Entertainment Group. All other content is the intellectual property of Happy Monster Press. Music, Ice Cold by Jason Shaw.
Oh, for sure.